Arsenal versus Sporting. Here we go again. Back into the Champions League, and I tell you what, Arteta, mate, you spoke a lot in that press conference that I saw. Him trying to say that he's on fire, that he's done so much, and that he's gotta get things done. Let's put it at that. And you can see Eze in the press conference. He was asked the question of what do you think about all the neutrals who seem to want Arsenal to fail? And Eze's response was spot on. He just said, I don't care. And that's the exact kind of mentality we need in a player. We need in the whole squad, actually. We don't care. Sod all of them. Sod everyone. We have to focus on ourselves. And we need to keep doing that. We need to have that mentality going forward. And as long as we have that mentality going forward, we can go out and we can win games. The problem with us is that a lot of talk happens in these kind of interviews, but talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. Let them do the talking on the pitch. If you're doing that type of talking on the pitch, if you're putting in decent performances, get the fans behind you. Get the fans believing in you again. And look, this could realistically be the worst week of our entire season. If we end up sodding this up and then going off to the Etihad and losing that game, our season's basically done. Our season will feel like it's done. Because we would have let Man City back into the game, we would have dropped out of the Champions League, and we're already out of the other two cup competitions. It will really feel like we went all the way, such great distance, but in the end, still just falling short. And we can't fall short anymore. We have to get something over the line, be it a Premier League or a Champions League. And Arteta, he's got to look at this squad, and he's got to ask the question, why are you so willing to take risks in your own penalty box, but you're not willing to take any risks whatsoever going forward? It doesn't add up to me. I'm certain it doesn't add up to any of you there, but it feels like we're too scared to lose it, and that's why we end up playing so defensively, kind of waiting on counter-attacks, despite the fact that we're the worst counter-attack team in the league. But no, I don't know what to say anymore with this Arsenal team, with what's going on with the tactics. But I've basically said all I've got to say, and I think the Arsenal board have had a very similar conclusion, and they've said, look, Arteta, you haven't won anything yet. Go out and win something, and then maybe you can sign another contract. Because I saw somewhere that Arsenal were holding out on the contract signing until the end of the season. And that to me is them saying win something now or you're gone. And that is exactly what the Arsenal board should be doing. We can't settle for second continuously. I don't think I could handle it. I don't think the Arsenal fans could handle it. It's such an emotional thing for us right now. And you look at it and you say you've got no excuse. What is the excuse? You've got the squad for it. You've got probably the best squad in the whole Premier League. Yes, you don't really have that kind of star player or those multiple star players, but squad depth wise, you're looking absolutely brilliant. There's no excuse for it. But what we need really, I think what we need is someone who is just going to be that star guy now. That's someone who is going to create a lot for us. That's someone who is going to take on defenders, who is going to come at the opposition with a lot of aggression, because that is what we've been lacking. But with more unfortunate news, it sounds to me like Declan Rice is not going to be involved in today. There was a thing that came out that Declan Rice was injured, or he was missing from training. And to me, that spells he's injured and that he's not available for the training session. Hopefully he'll be available for the day, but we don't know. But that to me just says he won't be available for today. So I'm going to assume that Declan Rice is injured. However, it did not mention that Pierre Hincapié was injured, and I do think we've been lacking a Hincapié for quite some time now. But this has to be a moment for Arsenal to really get their head out of their arse now. As I keep saying, get your head out your arse, go play a good game of football. Don't let them beat you. I feel like we need to win this game as well. Not for the sake of going through, because I think if we just get a draw, we're already through. I think we need to win this game because we need a mentality boost again. If we're going to the bloody Etihad of all places, we need the best mentality we can get. And we absolutely fluffed that up in the Premier League when we played Bournemouth. But hopefully, in the Sporting game, we can get a pretty decent result, get a win, like to go into the Etihad. Granted, Man City, they are going to be on an absolute cloud nine right now. And I don't think we'll come into it with the same mentality, but we've got to have it. We've got to come into it with something. We've got to have a little something in us now. Especially now that Chelsea, to the delight of the Chelsea fans, have managed to get their asses kicked 3-0. And I can't understand Chelsea fans for the life of me. How is it, right, that this Chelsea team has such a priority to go into this game, need a win to get into Champions League football, and their fans want them to lose? They're more interested in Arsenal than they are their own club. Work that out for a second. And it's just like Tottenham fans. Tottenham fans a few seasons ago consistently say they want to lose to Man City. And let's be honest, Man City, that's their club now. They're in the closet Man City fans. But I really do hope that Tottenham get relegated. If Tottenham get relegated, that will be the most karma that I have seen in a long while. And the funny thing is, they genuinely might. They genuinely could get relegated this season. And I hope to God it happens. I hope to God it happens. I hope nothing but the worst for that bloody club. Them and Chelsea. I've got no respect for either of them. But I'm sick of seeing all these fake quote-unquote fans coming out and saying they want their team to lose. If there was nothing on the line whatsoever, fine. Not a problem. I would understand it. To a degree, I wouldn't say I respected it, but I would understand it to a degree. But the fact that there is something on the line and you still want to fucking lose is unacceptable. You're not a Chelsea fan if you want that. You're just an Arsenal hater. And I'll say the same thing with Tottenham fans. You're not a Tottenham fan because you don't actually support the club. You just hate Arsenal. But on top of that, all the other stuff that you see as well, the banners of Mikel Arteta as a bridesmaid, the manufactured City fan drinking from an Arsenal cup, which that was entirely manufactured. You can't tell me that was just something that Sky TV just happened to catch. And then all of a sudden, he's getting interviews a couple hours later. This fan, by the way, he's a fan who's getting interviews because he drank from an Arsenal cup that he apparently had ever since he played the Arsenal game at the Emirates. I'm sorry. If you're a City fan, if you're actually a City fan, you're not going to hold on to a fucking Arsenal cup, are you? But, as I say, it's all an attempt from Sky to get as much engagement as humanly possible. But anyways, getting into our starting 11 now, and starting off in goal, it has to be David Raya. There's no debate about that one. Centre-back pairing, William Saliba and Gabriel. Again, that should be pretty simple. In the left-back, I hope I can say this, Pierre Nketiah. And with Pierre Nketiah, I think we've missed him so much, and we're going to need him in that position. We're going to need him desperately. In the right-back, I'm actually going to say Mosquera now. I think Ben White, he's getting caught out too much now. I think Mosquera, yes, he made like one really big mistake a couple months ago, but Ben White's making too many mistakes now. It has to be Christian Mosquera. In the midfield, going to start us off with Zubimendi. I feel like Zubimendi has a lot to really catch up on now. He's got to really, really show that he's capable of getting the ball forward. And with him, I'm going to say Norgard. I think Declan Rice is out for the season. Not for the season, for this game. So we'll have to see. But I do think it's going to be Norgard. And at the front of the midfield, I'm going to say Eze. And we need an Eze badly. We need to start playing really attacking football. And Eze can make that happen. In the attack, I'm going to start us off with a Trossard. I think Trossard should start this game, and then let Martinelli come on and let him run around for a little bit. And we've seen what happens when Martinelli becomes an impact player. On the right wing, I'm going to say Noni Madueke. A lot of people say Max Dowman. I just think it's a bit too much pressure to put on a youngster like that. But I do think Max Dowman could be a really good player coming on. And in the main striker position, of course, it has to be Victor Gyökeres. But yeah, no. This is a game we absolutely have to win. It's a very strong squad that I've put out. Hopefully it can happen. Hopefully Declan Rice is fine. That's a really big concern for me, is Declan Rice. But anyways, like, share and comment, and please do subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And I will see you in the match review for Arsenal versus Sporting. Goodbye for now.